So this is your main rail that goes from the front subframe to the rear. And then it comes with these right here. This is what they call like a jacking rail. It welds directly to your pinch weld. And mine were a little screwed up, my pinch welds, so the mechanic had to sit and straighten them out. And they're still like a little tweaked, but that's okay. But they then have, what's part of the fit system is these like cross braces that go between the jacking rail and the main rail. So you can see this consists of like 3 bars that go between the jacking rail and the main rail, here, here, and here. And then there's these cross members that kind of diagonally go between the 3. And they also, when you put them on, this like bracket is like not a permanent, it's just a collar that slips over this part, because no car is like perfect, especially with this being a 30-year-old car. It has been in an accident before, and so it wasn't perfect. And so this allows you to like, I guess, get it perfect and get it where you need it to be. And then you just weld that collar, and it's on that like all 3. And then there's another bracket in the back. And then the other thing about this is the main rail has a bracket that bolts to the seat bolts. It comes with new seat bolts, and you bolt your seat in, and then this, they're just longer, and then you bolt the bracket to that, and that helps hold it up while you're welding it on. Again, I didn't weld this on. I had a mechanic do it because I wanted somebody who knew what they were doing to do it, and I don't have a welder good enough for this. Someday I will, but for now I had a mechanic do it, and I'm glad I did, because this was a big job for him. He said it took him about 9 hours to do it. But anyways, this is kind of what you're looking at. This, I got this because this is actually the best system you can get for Fox bodies. All other systems, other than I think the Kenny Brown system it is, all the other ones just have that main rail that goes between the front subframe and the front frame rails, I guess, and the rear frame rails. It doesn't weld to the like the K member, but it has a K member. Let's see here, right here. This is the K member that everything bolts to, and then there's these frame rails that are like a permanent part of the car, because the K member can unbolt. These can't. So you can still get your K member on and off, and then in the rear, it just welds to your torque boxes. But anyways, this and like the Kenny Brown system, I think it is, are the only systems that also have these jacking rails and then have the webbing going between them. And that's why I picked this, because I don't really want to put a 4-point cage in it. This system wasn't cheap. Most of the subframe connectors will run you about $150. This setup was about $450, and then you can imagine how much it cost me for about 9 hours of labor to have the mechanic put them on. But this is now a permanent part of the car, and it's arguably the most important thing you can do to a Fox body. The most notable difference driving it that I've found, and this is a stock motor, mind you, everything's stock on the car, but the biggest thing I've noticed, when you gun it, it just goes. There's no like twist or like, you know, there's nothing goes on with the chassis. It literally just like, you know, glides forward. You can tell all the power is going through the drivetrain, and none of it's like twisting up the car. So definitely, if you're gonna do subframe connectors, I highly recommend this setup. This isn't something you should skip on. Don't get the bolt-on ones, and don't really get ones that are just the main rail. Get this system where you have like the jacking rail and everything, because this is the best one. This is what you want. And I could even jack the car up by these rails. I could jack it up on the side. I could jack it up anywhere on the subframe connector setup. These rails are very beefy and very heavy duty. They're not just some, they're very heavy. I should have weighed the whole system. It might have added weight to the car, but it's down low and in the center, exactly where you want weight. So it's definitely weight worthwhile. And actually, like these cars need it. These floor pans on these cars can crack. They're that thin. And the whole car, even on a stock motor with an automatic transmission, when you gun it, you can feel the car twisting up. The cars squeak, they rattle, they twist. They're not stiff cars. They have a lot of flex to them. So this, and then the front and rear strut tower bars are the biggest things you can do. That rear strut bar did so much for the car. I could feel a difference just rolling out of my driveway. And I don't have a very heavy undulation at the end of my driveway. It's not like I have one of those gutters or a big crease. It's pretty mild, but I could feel it right away. Anything you can do to stiffen up these cars will help them tenfold.